Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is day 3 of my 3-day trip. I have just spent 30 hours here on a layover in Houston. It is 3:15 a.m. I woke up at 2 a.m. I have to be downstairs at 3:45 a.m. So what did I do on my layover? I really didn't do much. I just rested. I brought some art materials. I've been practicing drawing and doodling, and it's just these little reels that I see on social media, like on Instagram or Facebook, and they teach you how to draw like cool things out of like a simple, like a number 5, and then you turn that into a bird or something. So that was just something different to pass time, and I just watched TV and stayed in. It was a rainy day. It rained all day nonstop, and the rain was heavy because I thought about venturing out to get something to eat. I would have got soaked. I had no umbrella. It was heavy rain. It's kind of miserable all day, and there was some thunder, some claps of thunder and some lightning. So I stayed in all day, did some drawing, watched some TV, and that was my layover. Today I am getting ready to fly 3 legs. One of the crew members lives here in Houston, so she didn't stay at the hotel, so that was a little bit different. She went home. There are 3 crew members. The other 3 crew members, we are staying here. One crew member was so funny. He packed his laptop because this is a 30-hour layover. His plan was to play League of Legends. That he was just gonna game, So it's like, what other job can you do that where you have like 30 hours to just hang out in a hotel that's comfy and game or watch TV or whatever, have your own slumber party? That's what I did. So 3 days, I forget where I'm flying. I will look it up, but I'm flying from Houston to Miami, and then I have to do like a little turn. I'm flying somewhere nearby and then coming back to Miami, and then I'm done. But 3 legs today. I will look it up and let you know where I am going. But come with me on today's adventure. I do want to say that this is the first time that I pack a blanket from home because I used it to have a nap in the crew room in Miami and it's so cold. But packing my own blanket, especially during these winter months, you know what? It just felt like a piece of home. I was able to sit on the sofa and cuddle with it. I was able to add another layer to my blanket because sometimes these hotels are cold, and I feel like lately the heaters have not been working, and it just feels like the blankets that they give you is not sufficient enough for me to keep me warm. So I threw this extra layer on, and it just felt so comfy and cozy. So that's my little tip. If you do a lot of traveling, bring a little throw blanket if you're like someone that runs a little bit cold all the time. And it just was a nice little comfort from home. So I'm folding this up, get ready to put it back away.
If you're reading this now, odds are I've already left town. A few cities in between the new skyline where I'm looking down. Few empties on the floor and a note on the door of your house. And this silence reminds me of what's left behind me for now. There's a broken down car parked outside the bar.
Okay, 3:36. I don't see our van yet, but it should be pulling up any minute. My safety checks are done. I had to open the overwing exit shades. For some reason those are closed, and those have to remain open for taxi, takeoff, and landing. And I said I would get back to you and let you know where my turn was. So I'm doing a turn. So first it's Houston to Miami, and then I'm doing a turn to the Grand Cayman Island. So that is what my schedule is today. 3 legs. Houston to Miami, Miami to Grand Cayman back to Miami, and then I'm done and I booked my flight home. Can't wait to go home.
If you're reading this now, please remember the good times we had. Forget about the moments we tried, we cried, or we laughed. There's a good chance our paths will eventually meet up somehow. Just know I had good reason to go if you're reading this now. Out replaying this scene where we share the same space, the same beautiful place in my dreams. And I kick at the walls, I keep tripping on old memories.
The day after my trip has ended, I'm back home. You know what? I forgot to write notes on the last day. I think that having those 3 legs, it was just a lot of work. And I forgot to write things down. And I forgot to write things down because things happened during that flight. Like on the first leg, once we were in the air, someone went to use the bathroom. And so the bathroom, the faucets, you press the faucet in and then the water runs out. And then like that little faucet will slowly push itself back out and then the water will stop. Well, when this person went to use the bathroom, the faucet never stopped running and the sink started filling with water and filling with water and filling with water. So we were trying to troubleshoot. We were trying, one of the flight attendants, you know, he had a little more muscle. He was trying to actually physically pull the faucet back out and it wasn't working. It was just like stuck in there. So I was looking for a water valve, and so one flight attendant was looking up in the manual to see where if there even was a shut off water valve. And I opened up the little cabinet because you can open that, like when cleaners come in, they open that bottom cabinet, they change out the garbage liner, and down there was also a water shutoff valve. So I was able to locate it. I just didn't have the muscle to turn it. So one of the flight attendants, he turned it off, and we got the water to stop, and we just let passengers know if they were going to use that bathroom, they'd have to wash their hands in the other one, because toilet worked, the faucet, we just had to turn off that water. So we let the captain know so that way he could write it up, and that's what happened. But so the first leg from Houston to Miami, we were in a Boeing 737. But then when we got to Miami, we were in a Boeing 737, but we were in a different aircraft, different tail number. So we swapped airplanes, went to different, again, the E gates, went from D gates to E gates. So went there, got on that aircraft, boarded passengers as usual, and then everything was going fine. We were up in the air, getting ready to do service, and one of the coffee makers, the number 2, noticed one of the coffee makers wasn't working, the one on the top, so no big deal. So when we do service on that aircraft, what the number 2 does is they'll brew 2 pots of black coffee, and 2 of the flight attendants will take a pot of black coffee on their cart, and then the number 2 will keep a pot of black coffee on their cart in the back, and then they'll also brew a pitcher of hot tea and send a pitcher of hot tea with us. So that took a little bit of time because he had to brew those like one by one using one pot, where if everything was working, he'd have 2 coffee makers and a tea maker, or you can brew, they're coffee makers, but you can brew tea in it also. He would have had 2, so you just get it done a lot faster. So he had to brew one by one and then put them in the pitchers, and then we went out. So we ran out of coffee, had to wait for more to be brewed, and but we just kept going on with service. Like, we're not going to wait there for the coffee to be brewed, and not serve the other people. We keep working, working smart. So we keep servicing, taking beverage requests and filling those and giving their accompaniment. And then once the coffee was brewed, we were already done with our service. So what we did was we just hand ran the coffees back up. Like I remembered, it's 27C and D that wanted coffee, and then it was 19B over here that wanted coffee. I just hand ran the coffee up to the appropriate passengers, and that's how we took care of that. So then after that happens, then I was flight attendant number 4, and the flight attendant number 3, we go through with the trash cart and we pick up all the service items. And usually people have like food containers or trash bags or stuff, that they have purchased to eat in the airport. And so we take the big trash cart out there because that has ample room to put trash if passengers are throwing garbage, as well as our service items like cans. We can recycle those, but then the cups and coffee creamers and all that, little cases and stuff. So that's what we did there. Then once we got back to the back after picking up trash, the number 2, the flight attendant number 2, noticed that the coffee pot on the top was leaking water. All of a sudden it started pouring out water and he couldn't get it to stop. So we have these heavy duty absorbent napkins. So he put a bunch of those and kept soaking it up. And then that wasn't enough. So I went back into the bathroom and I pulled behind the mirror. We have extra supplies, like we have extra napkins, extra toilet paper. So I pulled a pack of those to help absorb that water. It was like brown water. I don't know if it was coffee, I don't know. It was brown water. It looked like coffee coming out of the non-working coffee pot. So this was on our second leg that started happening from Miami to Grand Cayman. So he had stuffed, as we were getting ready to land, he had stuffed a bunch of paper towels under there, and he warned me. He said, hey, just be careful because this is leaking water. I don't know if it's going to splash on you when we land. I said, okay, yeah, thank you for the heads up. Because my jump seat is right in front of that. So my jump seat is here. There's a little bit of space. There's the counter, and then there's the coffee pot up there. My dog is barking. Sorry about that. So he told me that when we were getting ready to land. So after a few minutes, I completely forgot that he had warned me. So we land, sure enough, we land and everything is fine. But then when the airplane puts on the brakes to slow down, all of that water just splashed on me, all over my cardigan, all over my uniform, all over my face, all over my tights, everything. So I got splashed with that brown water. So needless to say, he was so kind. For our third leg, he let the captain know. Captain wrote it up that was also not working. Once we were on the ground, there was also a water shutoff valve for the galley. So we found that. I turned it off, and when we landed in Miami, after our third leg from Grand Cayman back to Miami where we were finished, he had put together, and I'll pop a picture of it in right here, this little safety barrier. So he took some recycling bags and he taped them up like a little screen in front of the coffee pot to prevent it, if it did spill out, even with turning off that water valve, the shutoff, that it would not get on me. And it worked. But the main reason it worked is because we turned off that water valve. So that was it. That was my trip. It just seemed like the plumbing was a little bit off on both airplanes. But other than that, it was a long day, but it felt like it went by pretty quickly. But that's it for that trip. Nothing else, nothing to report too exciting. I'm excited. My next trip upcoming, I will get to go to Costa Rica, and I'm going to get to go to Austin, Texas, and I'm going to get to go to Medellin, Colombia. So I have a 4-day trip coming up, 3 layovers. That's where I'll be. Stay tuned. But before that, I have 3 days off. So stay tuned. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. And if you have not yet No, if you enjoyed, I'm sorry, I'm backwards. I'm thinking about something else. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed and you're interested in my life as a flight attendant and you've not yet subscribed, I've said that way too many times, please hit the subscribe button right there. All right. Okay. Bye, guys. Until next time.